Following is Shloka 15 from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized. The sober person for whom happiness, distress, and experiences of various sense objects are same and who is not disturbed by them is certainly qualified for liberation. Yam hina vyathyante ete purusham purushishabha sam dukha sukham dhiram somratatvaya kalpate. The sober person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and who is steady in them is certainly eligible for liberation. Every living being is eternal Amritattva by his original constitutional position, whereas here in this material world we are put into Mritattva, temporary body which is subjected to birth, old age, disease and death. But there is another position, Amritattva, where there is no birth, no old age, no disease, no death, and that is called liberation or mukti. One can achieve Amritattva or liberation by controlling his mind and senses and by engaging them in Krishna's service. The uncontrolled and troublesome mind of less intelligent person which is covered by grief and lamentation is a source of misery. By the influence of mind, the senses experience their respective sense objects. Thus, the senses such as the sense of touch also becomes the cause of misery. Although cool water gives happiness in the summer, that same water gives distress in the winter. Therefore, knowing this, happiness and distress to be temporary and flickering, one must learn to tolerate the experiences of various sense objects. To tolerate them is the duty prescribed in Vedic scriptures. Bathing early in the morning in winter is troublesome, and in spite of this, one is not supposed to give up this obligatory routine of bathing early in the morning as enjoined in Vedic scriptures. One must analyze the influence of sense objects and must practice to tolerate them. Then these sense objects will not remain the source of misery when one experiences them, and thus that person becomes more closer to attain liberation. Krishna is instructing us to tolerate and to perform our prescribed duty and thus attain liberation. By performing our prescribed duty, one is able to attain transcendental knowledge and devotional service and liberation, mukti. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, in previous verse, Matra sparshastu kontaye shitoshna sukha dukkha agama paina anitya tam stitiksha bharata. The non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course of time are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sense perception and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. The sober person should not be distressed in executing his duty. The best of the person should not be distressed in any material condition and must perform his prescribed duty. And the duty is to become immortal. And Krishna is instructing us how to become immortal. One should be oblivious of this so-called material happiness and distress and must perform his duty. And one who does not care for this material happiness and distress must execute Krishna consciousness. And that is the qualification. And one who says that for him it's inconvenient to follow the prescribed rules and regulation of religious principles is not qualified to attain liberation, is not qualified to become immortal. One has to follow the rules and regulation of religious principles in order to rise up to the platform of knowledge. One must learn to tolerate all sorts of inconvenience which arise from sense perception in order to serve Krishna, the Supreme Master. To render service unto Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is our foremost duty, and in proper discharge of this duty, one should learn to tolerate this non-permanent appearance and disappearance of happiness and distress. Hare Krishna, I am Rajat Krishna Das.